What's up, Multiverse? Dr. Dave and the Professor here. Welcome to the Geek Lounge.
Today we're checking out the Hot Toys TMS098 tech from the Bad Batch.
First up, we have the base featuring the tech nameplate. You can have it as the standard base, but like the other figures, it does also come with a Bad Batch sticker, which you can pop over the top if you wish to display it like that.
So as with every Hot Toys figure, you get an assortment of hands to hold the accessories and pose the figure.
There's two DC-17 blasters, as well as a holster, though it does only fit the one.
We have two thermal detonators, one in the mine configuration, as well as a data pad.
A bunch of different tools.
Military backpack with magnetic function.
The signature goggles to protect those brown eyes.
And last but not least, Tech's iconic helmet.
And the interesting thing about the helmet is it's like not an alternate head sculpt, right? It goes on to the actual head of the figure.
Yeah, exactly. It's very, very unusual for these toys.
Yeah, definitely none of the other Bad Batch ones. I think you were saying no, you at least off the top of your head, you can't think of any Star Wars figure that's had that, right?
No.
Yeah, I think even the Darth Vader, where the helmet comes apart, it's
still the head sculpt inside the helmet. It's still a swappable head piece, whereas this is an actual helmet that goes completely over the sculpt and
which
clips together.
Like, that's really cool. In some ways, I can kind of understand it, where the helmet may have to be a bit too big if it's just kind of plopping over the head, so it may, in proportion to the body, look a bit weird. But I suppose Tech's one is already quite big, isn't it? Like, it looks big on his head.
Yeah.
Round, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But it's made up of 4 pieces, and you were saying it's like really fiddly to put together, right?
Yeah, just to kind of, it's obviously easier to do, probably not on the head, but even then it's a challenge to actually get it onto the face sculpt and kind of clip all the bits in perfectly.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to try it because I'm pretty awful with these things, but I think you were saying you kind of slide the top bit on, kind of goes down like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then these two sort of side plate bits with the... Is that the Clone Force 99 insignia, is it?
Yes.
On there. And those bits then essentially go...
Yeah, they clip onto the little pegs and the antennae to kind of hold the two pieces together.
Both sides, but to actually get it onto the figure, you have to kind of assemble it over his head.
Yes.
Yeah. And speaking of the head, let's start there with the head sculpt then. And we said this off camera, major D. Bradley Baker vibes, right? Not Tamara Morrison.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we think this one just looks like it has D. Bradley Baker in it rather than Tamara Morrison.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like the hair, because I'm pretty sure that's how D. Bradley Baker's hair is, with the kind of receding hairline. I mean, I'm sure people know, but he was the voice of the Batch, all 5 characters. Captain Rex... I think it was all the clones, right? In throughout animation, but it's kind of weird because it is animation. They've tried to like make the face sculpts a bit more realistic, but the other 4 figures, like the other members of the Bad Batch, they kind of like somewhat resemble Tamara Morrison, right? Where I'm just not seeing it at all with this one.
Yeah, exactly. I think with like Hunter and Echo, obviously they're the closer to looking like normal regs.
Yeah.
In terms of their face sculpt. Obviously Crosshair's a bit different, and then obviously Wrecker's bigger.
Yeah, with that scar as like the eye and things. But I mean, speaking of the eyes, mentioned it earlier, we do have the brown eyes there on show, and I guess 5 o'clock shadow. Is that how you kind of describe that? But for all intents and purposes, it looks like a real good head sculpt again. I mean, it's what you expect from Hot Toys, isn't it? With the cost of these figures. And then we've got I guess the kind of usual. Well, I say usual because it's not usual, is it? That's the whole point of the Bad Batch. That different kind of armor scheme. I think his is a bit more whiter, isn't it, than some of the others? Yeah,
whereas the others are like that very dark grey or gunmetal grey, whatever you call it. Yeah,
whereas he's only really got like highlights here and there of the greys and the reds. I mean, we always call it a flight suit underneath.
Yeah.
But there is a more technical term. Not entirely sure. He's got a lot of like brown on him though as well, right? I guess like the leather pouches and...
Yeah, I really like the look of how they've done this. I mean, obviously it's true to the character in the show, but I really think out of all the other figures in the Bad Batch line, I actually really feel this one is like, I'm leaning towards this as my favourite.
Yeah, and it is from the first season look, isn't it? Because they did change.
Yeah,
I think it was season 2, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, it kind of was more a colour change, than anything else.
Wasn't it like a greeny bluish? I think if I recall.
Yeah, it definitely had tints in there of different colours. But
whereas I prefer this kind of older.
Yeah. I kind of wish we'd actually seen more of their missions pre-Order 66 before it went into that. But
yeah, you never know if something eventually comes of it. You know, we need a new animation. I mean, there's nothing really going on at the moment, like Young Jedi maybe, and Tales and things like that kind of come here and there, but we've not got any continuing series, have we?
No, not at the moment.
Like animation wise. So a few moments ago we showed you guys the tools. They do all disconnect, so you can then attach them to the various parts of his body, right? Well, say his body, like pouches and things like that. I think this is just a flashlight, isn't it? Like
just a torch
that goes there on that pouch. On his right leg, and the rest of the tools go into the pouch on his left leg. So we've got a I don't know, is this like a caliper or a
I think that
tongs?
Yeah, I'd have said tongs, but
yeah, so
some kind of gripper.
Yeah, that kind of clips on there, and then you have the rest, including the hammer and the welder.
The holster then clips into the little notch between the hammer and the welder, so you can holster one of the blasters.
And it's a little bit weird, right, that you only get one?
Yeah, I'd assume that means he always has to be holding it.
Yeah. I know you can just have the gun somewhere else, like the blaster somewhere else, but yeah, it seems weird to me that you do only get the one holster. And we also mentioned earlier that the backpack has a magnetic function, and it's actually quite a strong one, isn't it?
Yeah,
like compared to some of the others, which are a little bit flimsy. That one goes on nice and snug. We gave you guys a quick look at the signature goggles earlier. They're not so bad to get on, but they're not super duper easy. You kind of have to start here on the bridge of the nose and the eyes, and then sort of go backwards. Might be a little bit more difficult to do on camera, but again, I think pretty cool that you don't need like a different head sculpt or anything, right?
Exactly. It is actually going on the figure. You do wonder if it will chip paint over time.
That is true, actually, yeah. Because the hair, the hair's actually quite nice, right? It's not that artisan sort of style.
No, exactly. It is moulded.
Yeah, but it does look pretty cool, like how they've got that finish, and then like you say, I guess the paint chipping maybe even in the kind of forehead area and stuff like that. I don't know, maybe keep the goggles on or keep them off, I suppose. And I said just a few moments ago, I'm not even going to try and get the helmet on, at least not on camera. I definitely don't want to break this expensive, rather hot toy. But just to give a slight demonstration, kind of, if that makes sense. That bit goes on the top. No, it doesn't, does it? The face bit goes on first.
Yeah, because it has to slot into it.
So it's kind of like that bit goes on, sort of slides over his face first. That bit then would slide and clip in on top, and then the two side pieces go there. That's pretty much the gist of it, right?
Yes.
And there we go, the helmet is now on nice and flush. The visor also goes up so you can reveal the goggles. I think he always wore the goggles underneath, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was the whole point of this type of helmet mold, for it to go onto the face and then not to have to, because I guess they would have had to supply 3 different heads if they were going to do head with no goggles, head with goggles, and then a helmet with goggles and head.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And one thing we didn't mention, he has the datapad, computer, whatever it is.
On his van brace.
Yeah, on the van brace, which was pretty cool. We always kind of saw him messing around with that, as well as all of the other tools and gadgets. I mean, his name was Tech, right? I suppose. I guess that's, go into the final thoughts on the figure. I mean, you mentioned it earlier, you think you're kind of leaning towards Tech being your favourite one of the batch.
I just think the armour's just so much different compared to the others, and I love the detail they've gone into with the leather work, like the stitching and stuff on all the pouches and stuff. And just when I was looking at the figure, when we took it out of the box and was messing around with the helmet, it almost took me back to my childhood. I felt like I was picking up an Action Man figure. I think it was just like with the helmet without the face bit on, putting it on, it just reminded me of something from my childhood. But
I mean, Action Men, though, were not like a couple of £100.
No, exactly.
Or anything like that, were they?
Although I do think they were the first toys that had movable eyes.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, they had the little thing in the back of the neck, and you could...
I mean, I had Action Men, but more, I suppose I was more 90s, whereas you were more 80s, I suppose, sort of thing. But I mean, I'd need to go back, I guess, and look at some of the other batch members just to kind of refresh my memory. I'm not even sure we checked out Crosshair or Wrecker on here or on our Star Wars, or now defunct Star Wars channel.
No, that's right. We only looked at Hunter and Echo when they came out.
So I'm not sure we've actually seen all of those guys out the box, but for sure, looking at tech here and now, I definitely think he looks really, really good. Very sad circumstances, I suppose, around the character without saying too much else. Yeah, I mean, we should mention as well, well, not that we need to, but it's always good to plug various stores, especially here in the UK. You pick this up from DP Toys, right?
Yeah, DP Toys Collectibles.
And I want to point out there's no issues searching for DP Toys. It does sound a little bit funny, but I believe it's the owner's name is something.
Yeah, his
initials are DP. So we'll have a link to them in the description below. UK supplier, they get things pretty early, right?
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, we got these really quick.
Didn't he have like was it the Deadpool figures? He had super early compared to like even some US stores and stuff, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, he's a direct Hot Toys distributor or reseller,
for
so
the
he
UK.
gets them, so he gets them directly from Hot Toys in Hong Kong.
Yeah, so guys, make sure you go and check them out. As I said, link in the description below. And you know what? I just said, didn't I, that I kind of need to see the rest of the Bad Batch figures, so let's get them out. Let's break them out. And well guys, that brings us to the end of this video. First and foremost, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend with us here on the Geek Lounge. It is very much appreciated, and we hope you did enjoy the video. If so, be sure to give it a thumbs up, drop some comments below, let us know your thoughts on tech, as well as the rest of the Bad Batch Hot Toys. And as always, we've got plenty more content on the way for you guys. The usual Funko Lego statues, figures, and TCGs are all incoming. We will also be checking out another Star Wars Hot Toys next week, the IG-12.
IG-12,
I was going to say 11, 12.
Yeah.
IG-12 with all those accessories. Make sure you stay tuned for all of that and plenty more to come. What is the easiest way to stay tuned, you ask? It's very simple. Subscribe, hit click, smash that subscribe button, and enable those notifications so you don't miss out on any of that future content. Guys, thanks again for watching today's video, and as always,
may the Force be with you.